Welcome, listeners, to the InFAWmation Nation, brought to you by the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, Division of Fish and Wildlife Hunter Education Program. I'm your host, Scott Travers, the Hunter Education Coordinator for the state of Rhode Island, and with me, helping to record this, I have my technical assistant, Dana Kopak. We're coming to you from the Outdoor Education Office, located in Exeter, Rhode Island, where, as always, our focus is on hunting, hunter education, fishing, aquatic education, and all things wildlife outreach related in the state of Rhode Island. This episode will be speaking with the Division of Fish and Wildlife's Hunter Education Program and Aquatic Resource Education Program Administrative Assistant Maddie Proulx, who will be sharing her experiences this season with the Matt Light Foundation and Rhode Island DEM Division of Fish and Wildlife Youth Turkey Hunt.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, Maddie. Thank you for being our guest this month on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a little suburban town, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, not too far away from the office. So
no,
that's
it's
great.
like 30 minutes if you don't hit traffic on 95.
So from Rhode Island standards, it's like the other side of the world.
Yeah, you've got to pack a lunch.
Yeah, gotcha. So what got you interested in working for the Division of Fish and Wildlife?
Actually, Scott, I think it was you.
It might have been.
So, in high school, I had to do a senior project, and we had to pick, like, a career topic we wanted to focus on and learn more about. And I wanted to find a job in hunting. I didn't really know if that was a thing or not, but, so I contacted Rhode Island Fish and Wildlife, and they told me to take my hunter education course first and find the guy who teaches it as a mentor. So, and that was you.
Gotcha, and here you are. So
Yep.
How long ago was that?
So I graduated in 2016. So it was the year before that.
So 2015. So it's been a few years now.
Yeah, I'm
Fantastic.
old now, really.
Well, that's all relative. So tell us, are you affiliated with any other organizations that are hunting related aside from the Division of Fish and Wildlife?
I am. I actually just recently became president of our Rhode Island chapter of NWTF. It is called the Ocean State Fantails.
Fantastic. And of course, NWTF stands for?
That is the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. So if people were interested in joining that chapter, of course, they could reach out to you for that, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Cool. So what got you interested specifically in turkey hunting?
Okay, so I have to put in a little shout out to one of our environmental officers, Josh Buth. He took me out and mentored me to be able to harvest my first turkey. And ever since then I was hooked. So
Awesome.
it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll have to try and get Josh on the show at some point.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And he is involved in a lot of youth programs and helps a lot of people out. So can you tell us also about the time that you harvested your first turkey? Tell us about that hunt and what it was like.
Well, first it was awesome. That's going to be the adjective for this podcast because that's how I can describe everything.
So can you tell us, was it a spring turkey hunt or a fall turkey hunt?
It was spring turkey hunt. I was using a 20 gauge because I'm brittle. I don't want to break my shoulder. The turkeys came flying down out of the roost, and no later than like 15 minutes after they came running in, and that was that.
Gotcha. And so you guys had a decoy spread?
Yep.
Fantastic. So I'd imagine that Josh called the turkeys in for you?
Yeah, he called them for me.
Gotcha. Do you remember what kind of call he was using?
I believe it was a diaphragm, like a mouse call.
Right, gotcha.
And the day before, we went to the target range, and I practiced with the 20 gauge to pattern it and make sure I was aiming right and how to use the gun and whatnot. So that was a good experience.
Right, super important to make sure that you're actually going to hit the target while you're out there. Fantastic. So I would imagine it was helpful for you then to have Josh there assisting you as a mentor.
Oh, for sure. Because it's a little nerve-wracking to go out when you're young and you're first starting off. You want to make sure you know all the rules and you know what you're doing, and whatnot. So it was definitely helpful to have a mentor for that.
Right, gotcha. And so do you think it would be helpful for others to have mentors like that when they go into the field for the first time?
Oh, definitely. I strongly believe in the mentorships for hunting.
Guiding people out. Yeah, that's great. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the Matt Light Foundation and Rhode Island DEM youth turkey hunt that happened this year. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we partnered with the Matt Light Foundation for our youth turkey hunt this year. It was awesome. That's my adjective again. What do we want to know?
So how long was that program? Did it last for a couple of days? And can you tell me kind of some of the things that happened?
Yeah, so it was over the course of 3 days. The first night was the mentors. We all met up. Grammar. Delete. We all met up at the lodge and got to know each other before introducing ourselves to the kids for that. The second night, all the kids came down to Addyville, East Farm, to the range, and they sighted in their turkey guns and were able to pattern those and make sure they get the right shot on the turkey.
So let me ask you, when you mentioned that they all went to the lodge, and what lodge did they go to?
So I believe it was Matt Light's lodge that he has near Addyville. It's like a couple minutes away from the shooting range.
Right, gotcha. And it was really, really generous of him and the Matt Light Foundation for all the things they donated and, the time for all the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a lot of people came in from Ohio for this, correct?
Yep, and they were awesome, and they helped out a bunch, and we couldn't have done this without them. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have happened without their assistance. And so they stayed at Matt Light's lodge, and did the youth stay overnight there?
Yep, so after the sight-in at Addyville for the guns, we all went back to the lodge and had a safety briefing talk and whatnot, and they stayed overnight there to get ready for the hunt that Saturday morning.
Right. So that must have been an early morning for them.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of the kids said they were up at 2:45. So
just probably a little bit earlier than they're used to getting up.
Yeah.
Cool. So can you describe what you did for the program this year?
So between that nonprofit NWTF organization I'm a part of and Rhode Island DEM, I did a lot of volunteer coordinating for that. I also went out on the hunt as one of the guide spotters for one of the girls hunting, one of the youth girls, and she was able to harvest 2 jakes, and it was a really cool experience. It was her first time hunting ever, so she's spoiled now. Definitely.
So that's awesome. So the circle has kind of come all the way around from you being someone who was mentored, and now you're the mentor yourself.
I know, that's crazy to
think
that's
about. Really neat. So cool. So now you're sharing your experiences with others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how many years has the Matt Light Foundation been working with Rhode Island DEM?
I believe it's been 2. This is our second youth turkey hunt event.
Gotcha. And how did all of the other youths make out during the program this year?
So we had 10 kids and 13 birds were harvested, so I don't think anyone went home hungry. And I think that's a record because last year not every kid got a bird. So this was awesome and everyone was excited and happy.
Right. I believe this is the first time for Matt Light and for DEM's Youth Turkey Hunt that the entire, all of the participants actually harvested at least 1 turkey.
Mm-hmm. And that was a huge thanks to all the other guides and mentors who put endless hours in scouting properties and whatnot for these birds. And it paid off for sure. Yeah,
right. And the private landowners as well.
Yep.
Who gave permission for us to use their property and to make this happen for the youth that were there. And did you get to meet Matt Light?
I did. And Matt's an awesome guy, super personable and friendly and just normal like everyone else.
Oh, cool. That's good to hear. That someone that's achieved that kind of stature, is just a common everyday guy too. That can be really cool.
He just hung out with all of us, and it was a great time.
Yeah, that's really neat. So I know you said that there were 10 youths in the program this year. Is that usually the number that we have?
I believe so. I think it is 10. There's like an essay application process, so we can only accept 10 kids.
So Maddie, if people were interested in finding out more information about the Matt Light and DEM Youth Turkey Hunting Program for next year, could they reach out to you for that?
Yeah, and I can grab all that information for them and send them an email.
Fantastic. And get the ball rolling for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, gotcha. And so what's the best way to reach out to you if our listeners or if anybody else needed information on this or some of the other programs that you're involved with?
So the best way to reach me at all ever is probably by email. So that is Madison, Madison .Proulx, Proulx @dem.ri.gov.
Gotcha. And in case people don't have access to email or the internet, is there a phone number that they could reach you at?
Yes, there is. It is 401-539-0019.
So Maddie, of all the things that happened during the youth turkey hunt this year, what was maybe the most memorable part of it for you, or the thing that impacted you the most?
I would say seeing how interested the kids are and wanting to learn more about hunting and conservation, and them coming back with birds with smiles on their faces. I thought that was really cool, and just being able to mentor a kid doing that was awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. See, again, come full circle from being someone
yeah.
who needed a mentor just a few short years ago, and now you're out there teaching others.
I still probably need a mentor sometimes, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we all do, right? It's tough because hunting isn't just one thing for every particular type of hunting.
You learn something new every time you're out there.
Right.
Whether it be like how the birds interact with each other, or the weather that day, and how you can finagle yourself through the elements.
Right, exactly. And turkey hunting is dramatically different from deer hunting.
Oh, yeah.
or from other types. We always ask about a funny story from our guests on the show. And do you have a particularly funny or interesting story about yourself, or from perhaps the youth hunt that you were just participating in?
Yeah, so I do have a funny story from the office, actually. So one day, I have a problem with like corners and stuff. So going around corners for some reason freaks me out. Not sure why, but so one day I decided to bring like Portuguese kale and sausage soup to work. And the one time I bring a ceramic bowl, my coworker Dana, who is here with me right now actually, she decides she wants to play a prank. So she's like, let me hide, and
That was because you tried to scare me first?
No, I don't know really what she's talking about, but she wanted to play a prank on me. She thought she was a jokester this day. So I come around the corner with my ceramic bowl of hot soup, and she jumps out and scares me, and there goes the soup all over the ceiling. I throw it up in the air. I freeze because I don't have flight or fight. I just have freeze, I guess.
That's the third option, apparently.
So I froze, but the soup bowl didn't. And it shattered on the ground. And in the soup was cabbage. So the carpet smelled like cabbage for the rest of the week. It was gross. And
Why did you have to bring up this story? Of all the stories, there's so many. You bring up this
many. What's better than that?
Oh goodness.
So that wasn't really like in the field, but it was good. That was good.
Well, definitely a work-related story for sure.
Mhm. It's never a dull moment.
That's right. In the hunter education office, in one way or another, it is never a dull moment in the office.
No. One time, me and Dana had to go to Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh. That's a good one too.
So, you know how I was having a really difficult time with the new technology in the state cars, because I just don't know how to connect it to my phone, and I guess you can talk to it. Like, it asks you, where do you want to go? And you can talk to it. Weird. So, we're trying to get back home. So I'm trying to ask the car where to go. And the car starts saying some random things. And I was like, oh, don't interrupt me when I'm trying to tell you where I want to go. And then the car's like, beep. I'm sorry, I can't find a street called Don't Interrupt Me. So I was like, wow, this car is sassy. So, me and the car don't really get along, but...
So apparently there's a rift between you and the Hunter Education vehicle.
Yeah, so if anyone is listening to this, we need new vehicles without technology.
But I don't know which story is better. I think I like the ceramic bowl story better.
Oh, really?
I do.
It wasn't fun to clean up, though.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
And I made Dana clean it all up just with her hands. Because soup with her hands.
It's like a soup sandwich, as they say.
And also, I just wanted to add, I went all day with no food after that.
Okay.
And,
and also, I offered to buy her lunch and didn't know she was carrying soup. Thank you.
So I just starved the rest of the day until I went home.
I can see there's going to be some heavy editing in this.
No, leave it. Leave this in. Show how really awful Dana is.
So thank you, Maddie, for coming on the show.
Anytime.
So remember to tune in next month when our guest will be Ed Lombardo, a longtime friend of the program, fly fishing instructor, local fly fishing guide, and just an all-around great outdoorsman who will be joining us on our program to talk about his fly fishing programs and a little bit about himself and the state of Rhode Island. So as always, between now and our next podcast, please get outside and enjoy some of the beautiful natural resources that we have in the state of Rhode Island in our wildlife management areas, and enjoy the beautiful weather that we are experiencing in spring this year.